Post confirms Jay Jones sent texts that imagined shooting the Republican Speaker of the House. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Jay Jones confirmed that he hoped an opponent's children could die to advance his political agenda. Can you trust Jay Jones to protect your children?
Virginia's Republican Attorney General hitting his opponent, the Democrat Jay Jones, in a new ad over the controversy that has exploded and roiled what was, as of last week, a tight race to be the state's attorney general. Newly resurfaced text messages from 3 years ago show that the Democratic candidate, Jay Jones, had previously suggested a Republican colleague be shot. And in text messages sent to Republican Virginia delegate Kerry Coyner and obtained by CNN, Jones wrote the following about Todd Gilbert, who at the time was the Republican Speaker of the House of Delegates. Quote, 3 people, 2 bullets, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Jones then went on to say that Gilbert and his wife were, quote, breeding little fascists. In a statement, Jones told CNN that he had reached out to apologize to Gilbert directly and that he is, quote, embarrassed, ashamed, and sorry, and takes full responsibility. My next guest is the Republican Attorney General of Virginia, Jason Miyares, who is running for re-election against Jay Jones. Mr. Attorney General, thanks very much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Obviously, the content of these messages extraordinarily disturbing, and I want to start with your reaction there. And specifically, do you think that Jay Jones should bow out of the race for Attorney General?
Well, this is what I would say. As Attorney General, my job is, as a top prosecutor in the state, is to stop violence and to protect victims. Doesn't matter whether you're Republican, Democrat, or independent. I can't imagine somebody seeking this job that, one, has never been a prosecutor in their life, but more importantly, has this mindset where they're actually imagining or advocating for violence. And to give you context of what these text messages were, this was a text message he exchanged with a colleague about a colleague, and he was upset that there were Republicans that had said nice things at a funeral of a Democratic colleague, a former member of the Assembly, Joe Johnston. He was upset at this. He actually said he wanted to piss on the graves of his political opponents. And he wanted, as you noted, to put 2 bullets in the head of Todd Gilbert, the Speaker of the House. Now, set politics aside, that's an incredibly dark place, but what is even more disturbing is he was called out contemporaneously. He was said then, if you look at the text exchange, this is not acceptable. And he actually doubled down. And he even said, when he was challenged, listen, you want to see Todd Gilbert's children die in the arms of Jennifer, his wife. He said, yes. That should make all of us ponder, because what is so bothersome for me is that he's met Todd's children. At the time, they were only 2 and 5 years old. He would bring them to the assembly. This was not some imaginary fantasy. These were real people. These were real children. And the idea that you would seek this office to be the top prosecutor and say those things about a colleague, someone you've worked with, about the children that you've met, I view this as wholly disqualifying. I view this as time when you have such political violence in this country and in this rhetoric. I think it is solely disqualifying, because when I have met with a victim of a violent crime, Kasie, I've never asked them whether they're Republican or Democrat. And I can tell you, I've met with parents that have lost a child. There is no cry like the cry of a mother that has lost their child. It sticks with you, it haunts you. And it tells me that, one, Jay has never been a prosecutor. He's never met with those victims. And it's simply disqualifying to say that about somebody you've worked with, that you know, you've met his wife, you've met his children. I think it's a real inflection point of what our politics are going to be in Virginia moving forward. And I think he has disqualified himself from ever serving in this position.
So you say he's disqualified himself, but does that mean you think he should drop out of the race?
Listen, that's a question the Democratic Party is going to have to reach that conclusion. They're going to have to reach that conclusion. Do they want somebody with these types of violent rhetoric running for this office?
The president did call for him to drop out, actually, of the United States, Donald Trump.
I know the president has, but the Democratic Party has to make this decision. I mean, think about this. If someone was applying to be a line attorney in the Attorney General's office or a criminal deputy or even serving in a governor's cabinet, and it turned out these messages came out, they would not be hired. And so that's a real question. Well, if you want to hire somebody that had said this, that had talked about the violent death of children of someone that you knew, then why would you say he's qualified to be the top prosecutor? I think it's important to note, there is a sign in my office, in the Attorney General's office. I see it every day when I go in the office. It's a quote from Thomas Jefferson, and it is this: "I have never found a difference of opinion in politics, philosophy, or religion as cause to withdraw from a friend." It is a reminder that I see every day in this role that even a difference of opinion on politics doesn't mean you withdraw with a friend, much less imagine putting two bullets in their head. I do think this is an inflection report. I think it's a time of choosing in Virginia. We talk about the Virginia way, obviously, the sense of civility and decency that I think is so important. And I do think that now is on the ballot. This is not a right versus left issue. I do view this as a right versus wrong issue.
Sir, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today is that, of course, this is a national debate that we have been having about political violence and the depths to which our country has fallen in terms of seeing violence come up more regularly. And part of that conversation has been about where is the line for threatening speech. You are the top law enforcement officer in Virginia. Do you think that these texts crossed a line into criminal threats or something that should be investigated from your position as Attorney General?
Listen, I don't have jurisdiction over that section of the code, making threats through electronic means. That would be a local Commonwealth's attorney that would have to evaluate that and make those determinations. I just know how I've conducted myself. I've always viewed that the day I took my oath of office as Attorney General, it was not to a political party or to a governor or anybody else. It was to defend the U.S. and Virginia Constitution and the laws of the state of Virginia. And as I've noted, I have never asked anyone that I have assisted with in my office, any of the victims that I have met with, the moms that have literally lost children, those that have been the survivors of horrific sexual abuse or assaults, I've never asked them, hey, did you vote for me? I've never asked them or even cared. That's just, they're human beings. I don't care about your political persuasion. That is my mindset. A wise Marine and a dear friend once shared with me, he said, listen, if you go to Arlington National Cemetery and you see those crosses and those stars of David's, there's not an R or a D on anyone's tomb. In other words, somebody who disagrees with you politically has given their last full measure of devotion to this amazing country. Let's not forget that. Yeah, it's politics. We're going to have big debates, but we have a lot more that unites us than divides us.
We do have a lot that unites us,
And I think this is really about the decency of what we want.
Apologize. We are hitting the top of the hour, but I really want to thank you very much for your time, Attorney General Jason Miyares. And we do want to note we extended an invitation to Jay Jones to come here on this program at any point. We've not yet heard back, but he is always welcome. Jake Tapper is standing by for the lead. Hi, Jake.
Hey, Kasie, if Jay Jones says yes, you have to do it in your show hour, not my show hour.
Hey.
We'll see.